What's up, gang? It's your boy You Go Strange here one more time. We should talk about things. This is a video I've been meaning to do for a while now, but I really haven't had the inspiration or the subject matter to do it. Until now. Art. What am I talking about? Well, not too long ago, actually for my birthday, so a couple of months ago, I purchased The Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable is a computer game, except for, in any conventional sense of the word game, it isn't that. It's more or less an interactive narrative. An interactive story. Put it like that, yeah. Because games are defined as things with having scores, a winner, a loser, that sort of thing, an objective. Yeah, whatever, this isn't that. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to call it a game. So the Stanley Parable is this game that you play, and, well, of course it's a game you play. What the hell else would it be? So the Stanley Parable is this game, and basically it's about this guy named Stanley who works in an office building, and one day none of his employees, no one's there, and he basically ventures out into the office to find out what happened. And there's a narrator kind of narrating your actions as you go through the game, except for at certain points in the game you can disobey what the narrator says. So it'll be like, and one of the main points of disobeying the narrator is when you come to two doors and it says, and Stanley picked the door on his right, but you're able to go left and the narrator will adjust to narrate you going left, and he'll say, Stanley picked the door on his left and did this and did that, and basically anything you do in the game gets a narration, and throughout the different choices you make throughout the game gets a different narration and leads to different instances in the game. So there are multiple endings throughout the game solely based on what you do, and different narrations with each action you take, which is kind of cool because it's very meta. It's very metafictional, in a sense where you're enthralled in the game enough that the narrator is questioning your actions and saying, what are you doing? Why are you going here? I'm trying to do this over here. You know, it's fun that way. It's very fun, very interactive. I highly recommend it to anybody. But this is not a review of the Stanley Parable. Then there is a game called Dear Esther, which is kind of the same as the Stanley Parable, but completely different. Dear Esther basically tells the story of this character, male, female, we don't know, who is roaming around this deserted island and investigating, you know, the ruined houses. And throughout your journey on the island, you hear a letter written to Esther. And in that letter, it tells about the person who used to live on that island, a guy named Jakobson, and some other people throughout the letter. And that's it. You're basically just roaming around this island and looking at houses and not houses, but like, you know, the ruins and the scenery. Beautiful game, but there's nothing else to it. You're just walking around and listening to things. Whereas in the Stanley Parable, you're walking around and listening to things, yes, but the things you listen to are altered by the choices you make. That's what makes it interesting, is that, well, what happens if I go over here? What will he say if I do this? What will he say if I do that? That's what makes it interesting. Whereas Dear Esther, you're just kind of walking around this island and listening to a letter to Esther. And the thing is with this game is that it's causing a bit of a stir, not in the gaming community or anything, but just a stir with me and a couple of other people that I've been watching as far as their review of the game, and just the comments and people saying, "Oh, this game is, brilliant. It's amazing. It's one of the best games ever. It's a 9 out of 5. It's 9.5 out of 10. And I'm just wondering what gave it that rating. Don't get me wrong, the game looks beautiful. I mean, the graphics, bar none. I mean, this game is beautiful. It's a beautiful game. But outside of that, there's really nothing else to it. It's just walking around on an island and listening to a letter. The catch is that with each playthrough, pieces of the letter that you may hear at the beginning might be played at the end, and pieces of the letter that you may hear at the end might be at the beginning, and so that's the catch to it. But really, that's not a catch. So here's my question. A lot of people are saying that this game, Dear Esther, is so deep. It just goes over so many people's head that you're just not ready for it. You don't get it because it's so deep. It's so, thought-provoking. And my question is, why is it that things that have this attribute of being so deep that it goes over your head and so thought-provoking are simultaneously not entertaining? Meaning, is it possible to have artistic integrity while at the same time being entertaining? I suppose the best thing I can think of is Donnie Darko and Southland Tales, and a lot of people will fight me on Southland Tales. I understand perfectly. But with Donnie Darko, that was a very deep philosophical movie, but at the same time, it was very entertaining. I mean, very entertaining. A lot of people don't know what the hell they just watched, but it was entertaining. Now, you take that and then take something that's like deep and moody and just, there's no action. Because there's no action in Dear Esther. There's no action in, well, there is action in the Stanley Parable, depending on what you do. But in Dear Esther, you're just walking around an island, listening to a letter. But yet, people are saying it's deep, it's incredible, it's wonderful, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. And while I'm not disputing that, what I'm asking is, why is it that it has to be boring? Meaning, in the game, you're supposed to be invested in the letter, but you're not, because nothing's happening. You're not confronted with an issue, you're not confronted with a problem, you're just walking around an island, listening to this letter. Why should I care about Jakobsen, who was, to my recollection, a herder, a lamb herder, and he came to the island, attempted to raise a family, didn't, and died, when that has no bearing on the game. You don't encounter Jakobsen's ghost or anything, so why should I care? You see what I'm saying? I don't understand what the connection is for this game, and maybe someone else can solve this for me. Anyway, that'll do it for me. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.